stop in and see him. Everybody looking forward to the matchup of Devonta Smith and Derek Stingley Jr. on Saturday night, as this game might be out of whack and out of balance from a team standpoint. When you look at the Vegas numbers on this thing, Bama's a 4-touchdown favorite versus LSU on Saturday night. 4-score favorite, hovering around 29, 30 points. But everybody, especially in the NFL, will be watching the matchup of Derek Stingley Jr. against Devonta Smith. Those are two Sunday athletes going at each other for about 4 hours on prime time on Saturday night. Derek Stingley Sr., who is a great tutor of defensive backs in our area. He's also the defensive backs coach over at the Dunham School, and his son is the top defender in college football. He's with us every week here on Off the Bench. Good morning, Coach. Happy belated Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Thanks. Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Doing okay. I guess this is the week that we've all talked about from an individual standpoint as far as Junior goes, right, with Devonta Smith coming in on Saturday night. With a week like this, what is preparation like for Stingley Jr. individually?
Well, I think with him is just making sure that whatever the game plan is, that he executes it. He understands it's going to be an individual battle between him and more likely Devonta, but I'm pretty sure he'll have an opportunity to cover some of the other guys. But like you said, everyone will probably have a microscope on that between those two. And, he's just going to try to do his best. And I think that, he's grown a whole lot more from last year. He understands that he has to stay focused and not look over to the sideline if someone is calling his name and check the play.
Yeah.
But I think that, he'll be ready. He's looking forward to it.
What did you make of Saturday's performance by the unit, by the defense? I mean, that was a big turnaround from what we've seen.
Yeah, I thought it was one of the better games the defensive unit played all year. I know the linebackers were playing like from sideline to sideline. I thought Cordell had an amazing game.
Yep.
Derek, he played well. I mean, he finally got some real opportunities to make some plays. And, it was good seeing him making some plays. And I thought that Jay Ward stepped up in place of Eli. And he made some plays, too. I mean, he got targeted. I don't think he had any catches over him, or maybe one. I think it was like a little miscommunication or something. He didn't get the play call, but it was like a 5-yard, 8-yard route. And I thought the safeties were where they needed to be. And, it was one of those games where, if we would have played a total team game, there's a good chance we would have had an upset, with the number 5 team in the country.
No, I mean, look, there's no way to slice it. It was actually a dominant defensive performance. I keep going back to it, but under 250 yards, 2 of 13 at third down at 13 points, 0 in the second half is pretty wild, especially when you consider where A&M was and where this LSU's defense has been. And like you're talking about, Coach, one of the best parts of the game was the secondary because LSU's pass rush wasn't getting home. The D-line was doing well in the run. They weren't getting there in the rush, but still, Mond had nowhere to go with the ball. In your mind, what's your view on how they avoided the breakdowns that have kind of defined the secondary for much of this season?
What I saw from being at the games, I think early on it looks like as if the coaches or the defensive staff was waiting for the formation to set to give the players the play. And then sometimes they were getting it in a little too late or with not enough time for the players can kind of assess the formations, see the motions, see what's going on, to have that mental deal in their head of what they have to do. Now they're just giving plays before they even break the huddle. So they're adjusting on as the guys are coming out of the huddle, and they're playing faster. Now they don't have to be as surprised as they were before because they was getting the play calls a little too late. That's just what I see. I see that they're ready to play. Where before it was like a little bit of, oh, God, we just got to play. Oh, God, the ball is being snapped. Oh, what do we do? How do we communicate? Because you can see now that they're communicating well before the ball is snapped, where before they didn't have that chance to communicate with one another. So where now they're all on the same page. And, it looked great. I mean, the last 2 games looked awesome to me on the defense side of the ball.
Derek Stingley Sr. joining us here just like he does every Tuesday, brought to you by City Cafe. Remember, as you can find them on the corner of George O'Neill and O'Neill Lane, and great brunch on Sunday mornings as they bring you that each week. Been in business for 100 years. Coach, as this week gets closer, the news of Terrace Marshall on Sunday, Derek and he were probably considered the top two players on this team. When you heard that news that Marshall was opting out, how did you receive it?
I was happy for him and his family. You have to be happy for him because you don't get these opportunities as young men. This is a chance for him to better his life, to help his family out. Heck, we're all going to share the same memories with him. He helped us win a championship just as well as Jamar did. So for him to say that he's opting out, you just have to look at his history. Look, coming out of high school, he had a terrible leg injury. Going into his first year, he's trying to come back, and it's just not him. Then last year, he gets another injury to where he's out a couple of games, and then this year, naturally he started out with a bang, and I thought that he moved himself up the chart some, and this is just his opportunity. You can't be upset with a kid that want to better his life. I get it. I get we have the fans that think he's quitting and saying that he opting out shouldn't be a word. Opt out, it should be quit. But there's no difference if you were working as I don't know, I'm just talking. If you were working as an Uber driver, and then all of a sudden you get a call from the President of the United States, hey, I need you to be my driver, and you're going to make, opposed to you making $2,000 a week, you're going to make $200,000 a month. What are you going to do? You're going to better yourself because you don't have the opportunity that comes around as much as that. So he's just maximizing his life on salary, on money. If it's all about that, then that's what it's about. You can't make the kid into a bad guy because he wants to better himself. He gave us plays that we're going to look back on and be proud about. So I'm happy for him. I'm his supporter. I always have been. I'm good with his family. I think that he's going to do well once he gets to the NFL as well.
He's a first-round pick, huh?
I think he is. Oh, yeah. I mean, body type, speed, tough cover. He can get off the press. Now he's shown that he can play in the slot, in the inside and outside. So, that's different. So hopefully he'll get that opportunity. I'm hoping he goes in the first round.
Well, and I think, excuse me, I think that's where it gets a bit interesting, Coach, is that a lot of that will have to do with the combine, right, and how he does at the combine. And as a parent of a player that will have to go through that same rhythm, it's a tough decision point because if you're not competing for a championship, combine training is completely different than football training. There's so much rides on it. How much do you think maybe something like that influences decision where this season would have been over in a normal year right now, and instead there's like a month left? Like I can't help but feel that he wanted to get a jump on training for February.
Well, you know what, T-Bob? I don't think it's a jump. I think it's more so the NFL is not waiting on college football.
Yes,
the NFL
well
timeline is the exact same. College football pushed this season back.
Mm-hmm.
This time of the year would have been what?
This would have been the last game. He would have been ready to. I mean, he could have theoretically opted out right after this or whatever, not played in the bowl game, and gone and trained for the NFL.
Exactly. So now he's back on the timeline for the NFL to start training, to get ready for the combine, because for him, the 40 is going to be the magic thing for him. Yep. He has to run a good 40. So that's his way of making a life for himself. I got to start training for the 40 because that combine is coming. So at this point, I think that he just jumped back on the NFL timeline to go pro, and it has probably some other issues behind it. Maybe he did look and say, are these games meaningful? What bowl game will we be playing in? Will we be playing in Texas Bowl or the Gator Bowl? I don't know. Whatever they're talking about, we may go. And I'm thinking if we would have been undefeated, fighting for the playoffs, have an opportunity for the championship game, he probably don't make this decision.
Yeah.
So me personally, I think that he's just preparing himself to put himself in a position to be, a better pro and make some good money for himself and his family.
What do you think Derek could run in a 40? Like when he really trains for it?
Derek?
Yeah.
Oh, he ran in high school on the laser time for the opening. He ran a 4.3 flat. And then I think the second time he ran a 4.33.
On the laser?
Yeah, on a laser. Yeah, it's verified.
Damn.
No, he's pretty fast.
I'm ready for Saturday night.
He's straight line fast.
So would you put, like, if you were, I hate to put you, but would you just put him on Devonta and just say follow him for 4 hours?
I would, but at the same time, I would run some type of coverage too. You know, wouldn't say, hey man, it's just you and him by yourself, and y'all just battle it out. You know, I would do some things to confuse the quarterback a little bit, but I think that's your best matchup. I mean, I understand that Alabama is favored, but I think that may be the game within the game that people can pay attention to. So it's going to be entertaining.
We will talk to you next Tuesday. Enjoy Saturday night.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good day.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, Coach.
City Cafe brings you that conversation with Derek Stingley Sr. each week. Remember, go see Cody Miranda, Dirk, Coach Squeaky Miranda, and the crew over at City Cafe, and let them know you heard it right here on Off the Bench. Your mailbag questions next.
Hey, hope you enjoyed that video. Remember to keep it locked right here on Off the Bench for all the LSU coverage that you want. But what if you want to talk New Orleans Saints as they race for the 1 seed? Check out our new channel, Off the Bench Overtime. Click the link, see what you think, and we'll see you around.